Welcome back, Mim.
Welcome back, Scarlett.
Lord knows what episode it is today.
It's 24.
24.
Yeah, 24 is like the second coming of age.
We're nearly halfway through a year, man.
I know.
Making 6 months.
I was editing this, our last episode, and I was thinking the same thing. I was like, a couple more episodes, number 26, and it's 6 months. Can you believe this?
That is actually wild. It also doesn't feel like that long, which is what fears me the most.
No. It doesn't feel that long. It's gone by really quickly. Hopefully we feel this way in another 6 months, and we can continue what we've started. But then when I think about, so it was my dad's birthday recently.
Happy birthday, Mim's dad. And while we're on the topic of Mim's family, I've heard one of her family members wants a shout out.
Oh, it's my sister.
So, hi, Mim sis.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah, she is a massive supporter, actually. She's always listening to the episodes. So, shout out to Eloise. Yeah, it was my dad's birthday recently. He's a big 71 now. And I know, very old. And for his 70th, we went to the Savoy.
Amazing.
And we were talking about it, like, on his birthday, and it felt so long ago. It was in last November, obviously, and my mum was like, oh, it was just before lockdown. And we were like, no, it wasn't, no. It was the year prior. It was November, and lockdown was in March. So it's weird. When you look back on the year, like, even Tiger King feels like a lifetime ago, but it was this year.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I've lost all sense of time, to be honest.
Yeah, I couldn't even tell you, other than the fact that I know because we normally record on the same day. Like, I have no concept of time and space and all of that stuff right now. All that good stuff. But anyway, how are you?
Yeah, I am not bad. We recently, I mean, listen, you're not going to get more than that from me, to be honest, ever. We bought a crock pot.
Ooh,
I know.
yes.
Go to Lidl. They are on offer.
I've already got one.
Oh, you're on it then. But for the past couple of days, we've been obviously doing crock pot meals. But you soon realise that you cannot eat the same meal for lunch, dinner, and then the following day lunch. I woke up to the smell of crock pot because Mr. Big had put something in overnight, and it smelled good. But it was...
You don't want to wake up to the smell.
Making me feel a bit sick in the morning, I'm not going to lie. And then I ate it for lunch, so I feel a bit stuffed.
That is the things. Crock pots obviously tend to be larger, like a large quantity. It's going to normally be at least like sort of like 4 servings.
Yeah.
And at the moment, I'm cooking for both me and my flatmate, which we wouldn't normally do because I just, in these dark times, I can't eat the same meal 4 days in a row. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
And like our freezer is stuffed to the max when I'm just like, look, we've had that this week, we can have it next week, but we're not having it for a second time.
I know. It really puts you off certain foods.
Yeah, it does. If you overdo it,
Yeah.
Oh,
so
well,
that's how I am.
An exciting venture.
Oh, God. Is that the epitome of my life? Crock pot talk? I don't know.
Well, you like anything to do with crocs, don't you?
Maybe that's it. How's your week been? How are you?
I am good because this is my time to shine. I'm a festive person, people.
Yeah, you are, very much.
I am wearing like one of my Christmas jumpers.
Yes.
Yeah, this is like, I don't know if I've been sent from the North Pole or something, but this is my time of year. I like being festive about anything, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you do.
Like, I love fancy dress. Like, I'm very up for being in like the theme of any occasion. But obviously Christmas, there's that run up to it. And so, yeah, I'm feeling happy about it, even though who knows what Christmas is really going to be. But I'm trying to be positive. we're getting our tree today. And yeah, Christmas jumpers for the next foreseeable.
Cool.
And on the topic of Christmas jumpers, so we're not going to do fashion stories this week because we've got quite a heavy topic. And also my little fashion qualm I'm going to raise instead of fashion stories this week is about Christmas jumpers. Now, fast fashion is obviously something that the world is very aware that we sort of need to stop. And one of the biggest problems is those one-off occasion pieces, such as a Christmas jumper for a lot of people. Like, you know, if you turn up to work and there's those Christmas jumper days, and like, I'm guessing you don't have I don't even know if you have a Christmas jumper, Mim.
I think I had one at some point. But literally, I don't have a collection of festive jumpers. That's the
perfect example that then, like, if there was a charity day at work and everyone's like getting in the spirit and everyone's going to wear a Christmas jumper, to go out and buy a jumper for that day is really wasteful, especially you're not someone who would maybe wear them every year. So, like, is that something that actually we should do? I know it's a charitable day, but like, you know, it's another thing, a bit like a Halloween where you have those one-off costumes, and let's be honest, are you ever going to dress up like the same thing the next year or ever again? We kid ourselves, we could use it again. But yeah, so I was wondering if you had an opinion on Christmas jumpers and the Christmas jumper day. So I would say I'm an anomaly.
Okay.
Because I have an array of Christmas jumpers, but I wear them consistently from the 1st of December onwards. Genuine. Like every day. And and I
that's
have, like,
not normal.
I wear to like the gym and but that is like, because I own them, I use them for a month, and I've had this collection, and I normally get a jumper a year. I haven't got a jumper this year because there's not very good options this year, I must say.
Really?
But yeah, I have had my collection now for at least 5 years.
That's
and I wear them
good.
And I wear them every December.
Wow, investment Christmas jumpers. Who would have thought there was a gap?
But I think I'm the odd one out there.
I think there are lots of people who are quite festive and do dress up. When you know, your colleagues in the office, and we have dress up days and things, there are a fair number of people who do partake in these sorts of celebrations. So I do think there are loads of Scarletts out there who, you know, do like to dress up. But you can enjoy dressing up and still buy a new jumper every year. And you can not really enjoy dressing up, have one Christmas jumper and wear that year after year because you're not bothered to go out and buy a new one. You're like, I have one already, I'll just rinse that one.
Yeah.
It really is about making a conscious decision to be like, how many times am I really gonna wear this, you know, realistically? I don't buy Christmas jumpers only because I'm just lazy when it comes to a theme, if I'm honest. Like, I don't plan that well for themes. I'm very much a turn up on the day kind of person, even with Christmas. Even with Christmas, my family's like on the WhatsApp, like, especially my mum and my sister, planning the meals and stuff, and what have you ordered yet, and what are we going to eat, and all that. And like, just as an example, I'm not like that. I don't really care. So so I'm the sort of person I've had one Christmas jumper, but that would be it for me. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to dress up, just as long as you're going to wear the thing again, you know?
Yeah, I think there's got to be some level of consciousness. And also, like, let's be honest, if you're someone who doesn't own a Christmas jumper and you think, you know what, I might buy one for that like one day at work, you're not going to spend loads of money on it. It's going to be cheap. It's going to be made in some like questionable conditions potentially. So like, yeah, it's got to be some responsibility with that, I guess.
Yeah, as with everything.
Yeah, which leads us nicely on to, we are discussing Black Friday.
And Cyber Monday, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after an ad break, that's what we'll hear. We interrupt this broadcast to remind you, go follow us on Instagram, Style Over Substance Pod. Shoot us an email, styleoversubstancepeak@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube, find us on Twitter. We've got all the links on our Instagram. You know what to do.
And we're back.
Wow!
Whoa, where did we go? So yeah, as with the rest of the UK nation, we are talking about Black Friday and Cyber Monday and just being horrified at the scenes that we've seen this year. Normally, post, Black Friday week, we see scenes of people rushing into like Currys and fighting people for a TV,
carrying out some giant TV boxes.
Yeah. A George Foreman is being, someone's being scratched, scratched down their face for the last George Foreman grill or something like. Yeah. And we see these videos and they're fun to watch. I'm not going to lie, but because we haven't been able to enter stores. Particularly in England, I mean, Wales and Scotland have had their own different scenarios in terms of this second lockdown. I mean, Black Friday and Cyber Monday has been exclusively online, let's say, except for like what you could pick up in supermarkets and stuff. And so it's been a different manifestation, let's say, of Black Friday. And a lot, like throughout this year, the question really has been, how are fashion brands and fashion retailers going to make up for their lost sales that they've experienced all year? And the obvious response is like, well, Christmas and that kind of holiday season draws in normally like a fifth of sales annually for these businesses, which is huge. So because people are so ready and waiting with their wallets open at this time of year, everyone thought, there's going to be crazy discounting to really like suck all the money and the sales that they can out of this time of year. And we definitely saw that.
We definitely did. And I think before we go on to some of the frightening scenes, we didn't see people scratching each other, but we might as well have from some of the online activity. So basically, I was going to talk a bit about the origin of Black Friday.
Good, because I was thinking we should kick off with that as well.
What's it?
You've got brain fart.
Yeah, but we...
kinesis. No.
Something like same minds or something, but that's not the phrase.
Oh, it's like great minds think alike.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, lost my words there. So yeah, Black Friday is at the informal name for the Friday following Thanksgiving in the US. So it originated from the US, and so in my head, I don't really remember Black Friday being a big thing here until about 6-7 years ago that I can remember.
Yeah, for me it's even less. I think about 4 years.
Yeah, but I always think like I've a very bad concept of time. So
yeah, as we've said, we don't know if we're coming or going half the time.
Especially these days. But so like, but in the US, it's been a thing, and it used to mark the shopping window for Christmas. So that's what it was. Basically, it was marking the beginning of the Christmas shopping season, and so there would be sales in shops for those people who have been eager enough to have already thought about Christmas and get some sales before the festive period begins. And they think it started in the 50s, which is
so
easy.
Yeah, so the term, I was looking at where this phrasing of Black Friday comes from, and there are some myths kind of lingering around where people think it's come from kind of one thing. And so the first recorded term of Black Friday was basically, it marks the crash of the US gold market in 1869. So there were these two financiers, like stock market financiers, and they basically tried to buy up all the gold that they could so that they could force the price of gold to go way up.
Wow.
And this, so they can sell it at this astronomical price afterwards. And when their kind of scheme unraveled and people found out about it, this was at a time where the gold standard was like an economy was based and a currency was based on the value of gold. So you can imagine once people found this out, the stock market crashed and loads of people went bankrupt. So that was the first time we saw the term Black Friday. Then there are kind of myths that it comes from. It has like a connotation back to plantation and slave ownership and stuff, but that has no like real basis as far as
maybe that's someone connecting the term black.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I got this from the History Channel because we can trust the History Channel. Most likely is in the 1950s, as you said, Philadelphia. Police used to use this term to describe the day after Thanksgiving because there would be these huge sales and it's a day that the police couldn't take off. They had to do a lot of crowd control. They knew there'd be a lot of shoplifters out and they'd be like taking advantage of all these high spenders who were in the area. And it was just a bit like the day they dreaded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that is really where the true meaning of Black Friday has come into being. But ever since then, it kind of like the term spread across the US and it actually became a retail holiday, like a thing. And then, as you said, recently it's come over here and we've just lapped it up.
Yeah, I think it's a typical British thing that in recent years, I think as well, we've taken Halloween and run with it so much more than I remember being as kids. As kids, it was like, yeah, like you go trick-or-treating now, like there's Halloween themes all over. It's like, it's the same. We're just becoming the holiday sort of juggernaut as well. So yeah, it's infamous for its sales. I guess it's basically the UK equivalent of Boxing Day, but after Thanksgiving. I imagine the US also has Boxing Day, but I don't live there, so who knows. But yeah, so it's got crazy sales and it's kind of one of those things where I guess if you're gonna wait, like say you've got an investment or I don't know, you want to get that shark hoover that Mrs. Hinch has recommended, like you want to get something, you're gonna wait and see if it's going to be discounted on Black Friday, because a lot of things are, like you said, TVs and stuff like that. So like a lot of people bide their time for these sales. And up until this year, like you said, there would be some crazy queues. I'm thinking of like the pictures that you get, you know how a lot in the US shops are like in these huge industrial estates, like or like these like kind of shopping outlets, like it'll be this huge kind of like parking lot, as they would call it, of just like so many parking spaces and then loads of big kind of shops next to it. And there'd just be these crowds and scenes of people queuing, like they'll have finished Thanksgiving dinner and get in a queue like overnight and stuff. It's
wild. I mean, for the UK, the Boxing Day sales was the biggest thing of the year. Really, that was what people waited for. And I remember, you know, people in my family, my mum, like going apeshit for it. But things have changed.
Yeah, so for the first time that I'm aware of, because I can't see how it could have happened another time, no in-store purchases could really happen for a lot of people putting on a sale. And I know that online shopping and online retail is a much larger industry than it ever used to be. But this year we still saw falls in sale figures on Black Friday because stores, like, literally, yes, you could have the best online. I think it was John Lewis had their best day for online sales ever, but they also didn't have a single person enter their shop like that day because obviously they're all shut, and that counts for so much.
Yeah, I suppose it just can't compete with a retailer that has like 200 odd stores across the UK, and if all of those are closed, can their online e-commerce kind of logistics and everything handle all those sales?
Yeah,
it can't. Like,
no. And also in shops, I feel like you would be like, oh, like there's that. Like online,
discover more.
I knew exactly what I wanted to buy before Black Friday. So like I have now used it, and especially this year it fell on my payday, as I mentioned last week. And also I've become aware of it, and now like I try and do my Christmas shopping then with those sales, so then I can get my family nicer things than I would get them otherwise.
I think this fall in kind of spending has been for a number of reasons. So you know, previously we've talked about how luxury fashion was hesitant to jump on the online shopping thing because of transparency of price. And online gives you a transparency of that same product in multiple different places. You couldn't go to 5 shops in a row looking for the same item, but online you can. It's so quick and easy, and you can see who's selling the same object for less. And then on top of that, you have places like Amazon. If you're a Prime member or if you're a member at other places, they're giving you access before the actual sale to either shop the sale or even know what's going to happen in the sale. So you're not buying stuff as much on a whim if you don't want to. You know, you can be an even more discerned customer if you want to. But just to give you like the scale of thing. Actually, before I go on to my next point, I think another thing is, you know, Mary Portas, that woman who used to be on our TVs and she used to talk about like the high street. She ran a survey, and it was just surveying people regards to their attitude towards like Black Fridays and stuff.
Okay.
And 61% of people agree that consumerism around big shopping events are out of hand.
Yeah.
So I think there was very much this belief or desire to want to like curb our consumerism and choose more ethical spending or conscious spending because of Corona. Wanting to shop small, of course, but also just I think we've been seeing more and more trends towards like conscious living in the past couple years anyway.
Yeah.
And this is just really taking the biscuit.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's something as well where we all fall victim of it, that we think owning more items is something that's going to make us happier. Like why would I buy one nice dress when I could buy 5? And actually, like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, literally probably about, well, let's say 100 years ago, people probably owned about 5 outfits.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like back in even maybe the 50s, you'd have one good suit, you'd have like one good outfit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And like you'd have your best clothes and you'd have a small amount of those outfits, and you'd really look after the things you owned, and you'd repair and darn and do all these things until those outfits are threadbare, and then you replenish. But we've created this consumerism where, like, not only do you have a TV in your bedroom and living room, but you might also have it like in a study and like in your kids' rooms. Like, there's kind of no need for it. And of course, that's really lovely for entertainment to be in multiple rooms in a house. But like, we've just excused so much consumerism by like, but it's just convenient. Or like, oh, well, if I own 500 pairs of pants, I don't have to do much washing. Like, or like, it's this thing where we have all these excuses, and these days really don't help. They really don't help.
Yeah.
I think this might be the first year that I didn't buy like, I mean, I'm not a big, didn't really know of Black Friday until probably about 3 or 4 years ago for like my own shopping sort of stuff. I knew, but this is definitely the first year that I haven't at all really bought anything for myself.
I thought you bought Christmas presents, didn't you?
I bought my family's Christmas presents, but I didn't buy anything for myself. I wasn't like, gosh, yes, can't wait for that. Because you know what? I'm really over having sales in my inbox. All year we've been flooded with discounts, and I'm kind of a bit over it. So I don't know if I'm just oversaturated with the problems of the high street at the moment, so it didn't really appeal to me. Or I guess I've got the knowledge that, well, don't worry, ASOS is going to have another 20% off day soon, and Topshop,
there's no sense of urgency.
Rest in peace, will have a discount. And they did. Like, Topshop's currently got another sale on, ASOS has another sale on, like, so it's kind of weird that we even had that day in some respects.
Yeah, so to get an understanding of just like how manic Black Friday is, figures from PwC has basically said before lockdown, Black Friday spending was expected to increase by 8% this year, taking it up to £8.4 billion from 7.8 billion the previous year. 2019.
Is this global? UK?
No, this is the UK. Wow. This is the UK, and interest would be about half of the people in the UK would be interested in buying during this, shopping holiday. And then when the second lockdown was announced, they had to recalculate, and they predicted that sales would fall to £6.2 billion. That's a fall of 20%. So the idea was that people like, I'm not going to spend as much if I'm definitely not going anywhere, definitely not doing much, or just kind of a bit
might be losing my job, like,
exactly,
all of these things,
and just like this like sentiment of like, I can't be fucked anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Not able to see my family this Christmas anyway. So like, for extended family members and stuff like that, it's like, what's the point? And there's been a real knock-on effect for retailers this second lockdown. And actually, I didn't even think of it at the time that we were locked down for it. And then it's only sort of looking at figures and thinking how that's actually... Yes, so many businesses have been crippled like by this lockdown and this whole situation, like the hospitality industry, of course. But like, this is also, we're trying to balance, and it's a really fine balance of keeping our economy alive and protecting people's healths. I don't even know.
Health? I think health is just
just health.
It's a plural word. Yeah.
People's health.
Yeah. It's the second one.
People's well-being. Yeah. Okay. I promise I'm quite articulate normally, but when you kind of...
That's what you think.
Hey.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a lot of mind farts. It's really distressing. Anyway.
So, we're saying all this really because... Pretty Little Thing, boohoo.com, same family.
Was it? I don't think that's Pretty Little Thing.
No, it was Pretty Little Thing.
Was it? Because it was also Miss Pap. Miss
They're all doing it.
Okay.
But the one that I saw with my own eyes, and the one that other people have reported on as well, was Pretty Little Thing. But by no means are they the only culprit.
I mean, there's about 10 of these websites. I couldn't even probably tell you half.
Yeah, and they're all like half of them are owned by Boohoo.com.
Yeah. We give them a rap, but like if you want to come on our podcast and defend yourselves, by all means.
So they had, and I've never in my life seen this happen, a 99% off sale. Up to 99%. I saw tops go for 3p. Like
a pair of jeans,
who buys things for pence anymore?
A pair of jeans went for 30p.
Yeah, jeans for 30p, shoes for 25p.
I thought Primark prices were low.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? I thought Primark prices were low. I haven't shopped in Primark for years, but when I was a kid, I remember being like, this is a steal! Like,
yeah.
And it doesn't sit well with me. I actually don't think I could buy a top for 30p. I actually physically don't think I would want to.
Well, you know what was going through my head when I was on the website? It's like, I know this quality is shit. Like, I know this.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't buy it if it were more expensive anyway, because I don't like the quality of their stuff. And I understand that people buy stuff from them. This is where the problem is. People buy stuff from all kinds of retailers and whatever, just for like holiday looks or one-off looks and things like that.
That night out look, because you're only going to wear it once because you're going to get that Instagram photo of you staring at the floor.
I still think that it's just not worth buying. It doesn't look that nice.
Yeah, like, we can tell you only spent 3p on it.
And you know how
and they all look the same. The fabrics all look the same.
Yeah, they are.
It is like such basic, like Generation Z or Z Gen, whatever they're called, like style.
Yeah.
That no.
But that's the thing. So they're either selling off or trying to sell off overstock, where they've already sold a lot of it already, made their money back, made a profit on it, and they've got X thousand number of units left, and they're like, let's just flog it and create this buzz online and have people flocking to our website. Or it's stuff that they've specially manufactured to put in the sale, because we all know
people like Zara do that.
They make the same thing using cheaper fabrics or whatever, hit that image with a bit of Photoshop so it looks great online, when really it's a lower quality product and you think you're getting a bargain when really it's not the same thing. So it's either that, and then Topshop was doing 80% off. Like, that's a lot to Topshop.
But I didn't see many things that were 80% off. This is where also up to is ridiculous, because most things I think had maybe 20% off, or some things were 50.
Don't you think they create an expectation?
Yeah, I mean, I almost get annoyed if it's not 80% off, like, because I'm like, well, don't advertise it. But I guess the biggest problem that comes with this is you're selling a top for 4p. So, like you said, you've either made enough money to justify it, but we all know there's low margins in these cheap clothing, like cheap clothes. So have you actually paid less than 4p for this garment? Because you must need to break even on a product.
You have to.
Like, and money is money. Business is business at the end of the day. Like, if you're struggling that much, hold on to the stock and flog it next year. Like, if it's not going now. But like, to sell something for 4p implies to me that you haven't even paid 4p for that garment. That's what it tells me. Or if you have, it wasn't a hell of a lot more. And that's what's really worrying.
It was like 1p. It was 1p or something. We already know what goes on with these brands, where they're sourcing their products from. And I mean, we had a shocker this year, shocker in quotation marks, that even within the UK, we know there's modern day slavery. We know that exists. The government's been banging on about it for, you walk through airports and they're like, are you a modern day slave? Do you know what I mean? Like, we know it happens here. And
have
to
you
see...
been injured at work? Are you a modern day slave?
Have you been injured at work and they're not paying you ever? We know that these exact websites are paying people below minimum wage
in the
country, UK to produce or to box up or to courier or whatever part of their business to make this stuff this cheap. And then a lot of people, online, rightly so, have been commenting on the environmental impact of what's going to happen with these garments afterwards. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to put all the blame on these companies. And the reason why I'm saying that is because as an adult, you have to make your own decisions about where you spend your money, and how much you fall prey to these ridiculous consumerism scams and just things you don't need. And we all need like a level of personal responsibility to it. But it sets a precedent for like next year's sales. Are we going to have 100% off? Like, what the fuck? I mean,
you can't get any more than up to 99% off. Like, I'm not being funny. How much cheaper can a garment be than 4p? You can't get anything for 4p. So what, you could have got an outfit. I'm pretty sure you could have got a whole outfit on one of these websites for £1.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is like, you can't even get like a can of Coke for £1 anymore. Like, my God.
Yeah.
That's just ridiculous. And yes, of course, it's something that like you wear it once and it'll be discarded, and there's a whole thing wrong with that in itself. It like, that's not acceptable. But like you said, why on earth are people gonna pay their normal prices, which are really cheap as well, where you'd maybe get a night out outfit for like £40 or maybe 30, like if you got a dress, shoes and some earrings, like whatever it is. Why can you ever expect someone to want to pay that? Which is a real problem as well.
Yeah, that happens. And we've spoken about how pricing is integral to what your customer expects from your brand. And it completely affects the way, not only if they see your brand as cheap or good quality, but it's like, why am I ever going to spend £100 with you if I know that I can get it for 20, for example? They're just never going to spend that sort of money with you ever again. But it's obvious that, they've been, I don't know with Pretty Little Thing, but for a lot of other places, they're trying to make their money.
Just because
how
there
Amazon
hasn't been a
they
night
sell
out.
things.
Do you know what I mean? Like, these companies run on girls getting their night out outfit, and for sure that sucks. For however long we haven't had a night out to buy an outfit for, if that's your thing, and that's what these websites live off. So I get they've got to flog it, but surely there's got to be rules on that. Imagine someone's made that garment and maybe they got paid more than 4p for that garment, but like, if I made something and someone was flogging it for less than it's worth, or like at a crazy price, I'd be offended.
Reported that there's been like £8 billion loss of sales over like the summer in this year and stuff. I mean, but loss is a tricky word, because loss can be like against like projected figures, sales, and not like money that they are now in the hole. It could basically just eat into their growth. But still, that's a lot of money. That's nothing to sniff at. And a lot of companies are trying to like make their money back in any way, shape or form, even if they have to.
And hey, maybe
but you know what I'm
doing. you said if you had like some designer bags. You'd be selling that for bread these days. Like, who knows? Who knows what we would be doing?
Because I need food to eat, not because, you know.
But so do the owners of well, they're fine. But like, so do the employees at boohoo.com. Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand smaller retailers, but yeah, so this is complete speculation, but when I think of Pretty Little Thing and all that, I think that they do this stuff not only just for like online hype, but they are just trying to like undercut their competitors, and they'll happily take a loss to generate buzz or to just capture more of the market. This like going out, girls night out, girls on tour kind of demographic. And I think that's what they're doing here. I mean, right now they're kind of invincible in the sense that there was this massive scandal about they commit slave labor in their factories in the UK and people are still buying their shit. It's like they can bounce back from everything.
Yeah. And also, like, they kind of got away with this ridiculous price cut. Like, the only people that I saw, and when I was like seeing if there was much furore, like more the stuff in the news about Black Friday was just the figures not being what they normally are, or like that there were website glitches, and so that stopped people because there's no in-store experience. But I didn't see furore on the fact that, like, sorry, you're selling things for pennies. The only place I saw that were friends of mine on Instagram being like, this is outrageous, and it was mainly people who worked in fashion, so they were like, so surely this was made for less than 4 pennies or 30p for a pair of jeans.
Well, there is more to the economy than just these particular brands. I mean, like fashion industry in general. So like, I can understand why there was more focus in general about the state of sales because it affects more people. Yeah. Like, this only really affects the people who shop at Pretty Little Thing and Miss Pap, and granted, it's a lot of people, but it doesn't concern everyone, I suppose, you know? But even so, yeah, you're right. I don't know. I've got a question for you. Do you think that next year will be any better? Do you think there'll be any changes? Can you see any legislation being passed or changes being made in the near future to really like rein this in?
You know what? I can't. And actually, I feel like this has created a monster. And the reason these discounts were so crazy, and we had week-long sort of exclusive looks into it, or Amazon had different deals each day for a week, and then you think you survived it, and then bam, there's Cyber Monday. Like, I think that's only going to continue because granted, it's a marketing like dream. And I know they did it because of the circumstances of this year, but I just think it's going to continue because we're all still going to be in not a great place next year. The economy is still going to have a lot of issues. It's not going to repair itself. People are going to be like, the projected figures for unemployment next year are sad and scary. So it's still going to be justified, I think. I think that companies will justify it to themselves and think, well, we're going to have to do pretty much that again, or whatever it is. Yeah.
And it comes with, the thing that's unique about Black Friday and Cyber Monday is it comes with this belief that I'm going to have to buy stuff anyway for Christmas. So why not get it at a cheaper price? Rightly so. That is capitalism, isn't it? It's like you as a consumer have the power to choose where you spend your money, and whoever's successful are successful because they just did the right thing, you know, like in terms of companies and stuff. And so because people are so ready to shop at this time of year, I mean, I don't think it'd be the same if like the sale was in March. If we had Easter sales, people would be like, I don't need this stuff. Like, who am I gifting?
I don't think it would work if someone was only shopping for themselves. I think people justify it, like you said, because it's for other people, or they would have to buy stuff this time of year anyway. There's a real justification.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's a time of year as well that we saw. I definitely tend to be like, oh, I deserve it. Like I think it's sort of a time of year where we all like sort of like look after ourselves. Or like,
it gets dark early, it's cold, it's windy, it's rainy, and you want a perk up. We saw that, I think, at the first lockdown, 20 years ago, when people were saying, oh, people aren't going to be buying anything, and it's like, no, people are still buying stuff because it makes them feel good.
And I must admit that, like, that's me. Like my my friend Faith, I mean, Faith, she was like, oh, like, everyone's probably saving loads of money, like, at the moment. I was like, well, like, I'm just spending quite like a lot. Like maybe it's more on skincare now rather than clothing, because I'm not really like wearing makeup as much, and so I'm looking after my skin, or I'm buying the outfit for like when we're finally allowed out because I really like it. I think for me it's more if something sings to me, I don't often like I'm sure you're the same, like, when something's like, that is so my style. Yeah. And you don't always find that. So you're like, I'm going to get that for like, because the next time I look for something,
I don't want to miss out.
Style, yeah. Because very rarely do I find when I'm looking for stuff like, that is me. But yeah, it's not great. I definitely like reward myself like I'm a dog and Scarlett needs treats.
Did you see any crazy discounts or notable discounts for luxury brands? Because I kind of went looking for them and I didn't really see anything like that.
No.
And also I feel like beauty, they are always kind of cautious to discount too much. They normally do a 30% and that's as much as you kind of get from what I see.
And it's not normally on cult products. And yeah, there must be a decided upon sort of discount. Like, I don't think the likes of Cult Beauty, Space NK, like all of those, I think there's got to be decided upon discount. Like, I don't think Cult Beauty can out discount Space NK, because also a lot of these companies have their own website.
Yeah, the brand, when they kind of wholesale their stuff out to these websites, would say, this price cannot retail for lower than this, and this is our RRP. And I think that they keep it very controlled, even on like the Net-a-Porters of the world and things like that.
Which I quite respect.
100. And designer brands do the same thing. Some brands will never go on sale. Others will say you cannot discount heavier than this.
Or it can only be like certain colorways. Or
what beauty does do is they bring out the seasonal gift sets, and those are the ones where you get the discounts on. Either they make it specifically for Christmas sales, so the margin is made to be amazing, or it's overstock, or it's old stuff, or it's sets that they make to fill that gap, but they're not doing it on their like current kind of stuff. It normally features sort of miniatures,
and the markup on miniatures is huge compared to full-size products, so it's definitely a profitable thing. But that's true, actually. I didn't see luxury succumbing to any of like there may be pressures to reduce pricing, and like you said, the beauty industry for years now has been quite a steady. I mean, I'm sure the likes of other websites, I'm sure like a Beauty Bay or something like that, don't get me wrong, love Beauty Bay as well, but they have more young people brands, I would say, like people who, again, for that night out, like they buy a certain color eyeshadow for that out. Like, I don't know, there are those people who they buy lots more makeup maybe than one product or whatever it is.
But I think beauty is sorry to cut you off. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just saying,
okay.
like, yeah.
So I think beauty is quite an interesting example of how you can capture a young market and still encourage them to spend a lot of money on something very premium.
Yeah.
Pretty Little Things model isn't because they target young people. Obviously, that's their demographic, and they make it, and what they do is wildly successful, but that does not have to be the rule, you know? Customers are trained to think like that, and therefore other people believe this has to be the way. Beauty, like when you watch it on YouTube or you read stuff online or you follow certain people, like, as you know, I'm not like the biggest beauty guru. I'll watch stuff about it, but do I buy any of the stuff? No. I just, it's just entertainment value. And I personally wouldn't spend £200 on an advent calendar for Christmas of beauty stuff, £200-300, or buy into La Mer or these, or like, what is it, Summer Fridays and Sunday Rileys and all these like brands which are not cheap, and buy their whole like 5-step program and stuff. But there are lots of young people, millennials and Gen Z, who do buy into this.
Yeah.
So you can be young and live that life, but also believe and invest in indulgent products,
Yeah.
Can be done.
I think the success of beauty is that, like, I love beauty. I love all things, love a nice serum, but I don't know the science. So it's that thing of, well, if it's £85, it must be because of like the rare acids inside, or like,
and the algae has been plugged from the Great Barrier Reef itself. Obviously.
But I think it's less touchable or less approachable for us all to know, like, the justification. So the science, I think, justifies it somewhat. Whereas, like, you buy clothing, you feel that material, you know whether it's nice, you can see if the stitches are already fraying. So I think there's some sort of like, I'll leave the science up to those guys thing that beauty like succeeds with. But I mean, I really hope that Black Friday chills out next year, or that shops have their moments. Like, look, you guys go queue for your TVs next year. Like, I fully support that.
I want to get sent a few WhatsApp videos of people getting knocked out. Like,
what, like the early scenes of lockdown toilet roll?
Oh God. Okay, I don't want a repeat of that, but I do want a TV or two. Yeah, I want a moment like that.
So what are your hopes for Black Friday, or any sort of comments that you have that you feel about Black Friday?
Black Friday. I didn't really buy anything in Black Friday, actually. I don't really know. I don't see it really changing. As you've said, people are poorer than ever right now.
Yeah.
And they will continue to be broke next year.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely going to be a need for this discounting again. Don't get yourself into debt over Christmas for gifts for people. And it's hard, but don't get swayed into ridiculous Black Friday deals if you cannot afford it. And although Pretty Little Thing is like, oh, but you can afford a 5p pair of trousers or something, like, keep your 5p. They're not doing anything good for the environment or for your pocket or for the world or for other people.
Workers.
Yeah. Am I anti-sales? No, 100% not. I'm definitely a sales shopper. But I just don't see how the tide is going to turn. How can you curb something like this? If we say, at the very least, people have to be paid a living wage, and they can't even do that, how are you going to get companies to not take the piss?
There should be some legislation on discounting. You know how like alcohol products can't be discounted by a certain amount because obviously that's harmful, and no, we shouldn't be able to buy like certain, like, well, there just shouldn't be those.
But then all they're going to do, instead of saying this skirt was £50 and it is now £10, and that's a 75 or what is it, a 70 or 75% discount, whatever. Now they're just going to say this skirt is £10.
Yeah.
No. And we're going to know that that's a good deal just because we know how much things cost and we can compare across the board. But there's always a way out of it, you know?
I know. I think that's the problem, and that is fashion to a T. There are ways of going around, skirting around the rules. But yeah, just as long as it's like, look, these sorts of Black Friday things on the pretty little things in life, it just needs to stop the slavery in this country. Like, for one, I think that's what it like brought out to me and saddened me with was just that reminder that that's what's going on. Yeah. And they weren't even shy about it. Like, that's what I felt like. It was like a slap in the face, wasn't it? Of like, we can sell this at such a low price. Like, that's what it was to me.
I mean, that's why they put the sale on, to just like
shove it in our faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe to create a buzz. So imagine you are that girl who takes a different picture, an Instagram picture every night out for that dress that you got that you'll never wear again. Maybe they all had a WhatsApp group and were like, guys, we can now get stuff for like 10p. Like, maybe it works for them. It must have done for them to do it, you know?
Well, let's see for next year. I yeah.
That side to it all.
Oh, you got anything else to add?
The sigh was everything.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you next week, guys. I've been Mim.